Iron Man 3. The Iron Man movie that supposedly we've all been waiting for. The one to do out all of them, all the rest. But unfortunately, a disappointment nonetheless. All we wanted was just a good villain. A good villain. That's it. For Iron Man. Not a villain that was like Iron Man. Not a copycat Iron Man villain that is like him or had a device made by him. Just a good villain. And they couldn't give it to us. They hyped it up. Boy, they couldn't give us a good villain. One of the trailers, I had downloaded and rewatched the trailers and TV spots a million times. And I was like, the villain looks so good. They did the Mandarin right. And it ended up just being a show. Just a false idol. Trevor, total disappointment. Okay, now that I'm back home, I can get into Iron Man 3 a little bit more here. Iron Man 3. It was an okay movie. It was pretty good. It was pretty good. I think Iron Man 3, it has its strong points. And I'll say this, I really liked the parts of Iron Man where he didn't have his suit, surprisingly. It really showed me how Tony Stark was able to come ahead and put his foot forward and be in what's the terminology for that? Ingenious, show his ingenuity. His ingenuity. It was about halfway through the movie where he didn't have a suit and he had to make things. He actually had to take his time. He actually had to take time to go to the store and buy things and make these gadgets to get to where he needed to be. And I thought that was a very, very genius point in the movie. It really showed how smart he was. We know he can build a suit, but without a suit, like, what would he be able to do? And they showed that in Iron Man 3. I thought that was really cool. Also, I thought Iron Man did a really good job in having a strong female character. We didn't, so most of us didn't really see it coming, but Pepper Potts, she played a part. She almost played an even stronger part in the movie than Iron Man did. She did a good job kicking butt, and she played her role pretty well. I don't think she outshined Robert Downey Jr., but towards the end of the movie, she sure she saved his life, actually. And so Iron Man 3 it had its stupid moments. This is what got me. Tony Stark is a genius, a billionaire playboy genius, and he's going to give out his home address to a terrorist. That's beyond me. And then be surprised when the terrorist attacks his home front. He just put everybody at risk. You don't do that. You're a superhero. You don't put people at risk like that. That was my pet peeve of the movie. The thing that irritated me the most. And he got what he deserved, too. They completely destroyed his house to turn it from the beautiful, I think it was, not Miami, Malibu Suite, to Kingdom Come. Just completely destroyed it, down to rubble. So yeah, Tony Stark is a huge idiot for doing that. I mean, the guy has it all, the smarts, the looks, the talent, the suits, but he has to go and risk it. He has to put it all on the line. It just seems it seems like he didn't really think that through, and it ended up being a pivotal point in the movie where Tony Stark got his whole house destroyed. It was tragic. Really, really, really hard to see. It's cringing through it all. It was tragic, very tragic for Tony. I also thought Don Cheadle did a pretty good job portraying Rhodey. He had some some funny lines. He had some funny lines of depicting the new Iron Patriot and contrasting Iron Patriot and War Machine as a battle between the names. And then he mentions, he says one of the codes to get into, I forgot what it was, but to get into somewhere, and it was like War Machine rocks or something. I thought that was pretty funny. Since Iron Patriot and War Machine are technically the same, but they're two different dynamics. I thought that was an interesting take that they did. Since Iron Patriot's more mellowed down, and they mentioned it in the movie. It's the name's more good for kids instead of War Machine. War Machine. It's pretty out there. It's pretty rock'em sock'em type. Iron Patriot's more toned down. It's more pretty for the eyes, so to speak. More of a eye candy, you could say. Iron Patriot. The suits were incredible. It was like a smorgasbord of just cool robot toys just flying on everywhere in the final act. It was incredible. And I don't think it's officially the Hulkbuster armor, which we see later in the in the Avengers Age of Ultron, the actual Hulkbuster armor, but it was like a Hulkbuster type of armor, and it had it was like blue, it was like navy blue and silver, and it had this thing on its spine, on its back, where it would line up stiff and stiffen, and the robot would be able to hold like tons of metal or whatever load it was on its back, and it did that in the movie. We saw a clip of that in the trailers earlier, and it was we finally got to see it in the movie in action, and it was incredible. Tony Stark, he outdid himself. Iron Man 3. He had so many cool suits. It was incredible. It was really overwhelming. I mean, with that many suits, the guy he could live practically forever with that much protection. But what we got to see was what the Avengers really did to traumatize Tony, because he made so many suits after that, and it really got to him how he was in space, and which it would get to anybody like that, and most likely traumatize you if you were going up against aliens and going in space and battling like that. That would really leave a mark on your soul, so to speak. And we got to see that because he has so many suits, and he must have just been in his garage, just going crazy, getting more and more paranoid over time, and just going all out on his suits. I thought it was really funny in the movie too, when he was when he's in the this containment unit where they got him chained, his hands chained up, and he's trying to call his suit. He's trying to call his suit, and it's just not working for him. He can't do it. It's like Thor calling his hammer, but he's trying to call his suit to him, and the guys making fun of him. The guys that are holding him in the containment, the prison cell, and it's like 3, 2, 1. Now it's coming. Now it comes, and it finally comes to him after all the time, all the jokes and whatnot. And it's a pretty awesome scene where it finally comes through the window. His suit comes through the window. He calls it, and it finally comes. And he's able to knock out the bad guys and go from there. And I think it's a special moment because all the full suit isn't on him. It's just part of the suit, and he's interacting. We get to see like a robot cyborg type of Iron Man, because he's got like one leg, one iron leg on, one Iron Man on, and he's shooting and trying to fly at the same time and get rid of the bad guys, the guys that are holding him. But that was a pretty cool scene. Throughout Iron Man 3, I'm glad they showed a lot of points where he didn't have a suit. That really made the movie to me, because we know Tony Stark has a suit, and we know he goes through the motions of taking out the bad guys with the suit, but we got to see him at a more vulnerable point in his life without the suit at I say half the movie. Pretty much half the movie. Overall, though, with Iron Man 3, I thought they could do it. They could have done a way better job with the villain, even though, can't even think of his name right now. The other Mandarin, the real Mandarin, can't even think of it. I can't even remember his name. I can't even remember the guy's name. Donegan, something like that. But you know what I'm talking about, the real Mandarin, which he reveals, I am the Mandarin at the end. They could have done a much better job with the Mandarin, and just have it stayed as the Mandarin, which was Trevor was supposed to be the Mandarin. They couldn't just left the Mandarin. And in the comics, the Mandarin has these, I think it's these rings, supposedly, are these stones or something, where he has different powers, and I thought that's what they're going to do in Iron Man 3, but they didn't do that. But they went with the Extremis stuff, and it was kind of weird, because the Extremis had like heat powers, and it can melt metal, which was bad for Tony. It was a weakness in the armor. The Extremis, it found a weakness in Tony's armor, because it can melt the armor. I thought that was interesting, that they didn't go with the Mandarin's superpowers, and they just went with the Extremis. That was interesting, but hey, I didn't make the movie. Would have did it in a totally different way, but overall, I would give Iron Man 7 out of 10. I thought it was C plus. Pretty good movie. Really disappointed with the villain, but overall definitely a funny popcorn flick that you could sit down and watch. You could probably watch this about 3 or 4 times within like a couple of months, and still be into it. It's a good movie you can watch over and over again. But I think I did a little bit better with the villain, honestly. And then I got my Iron Man mask here. Dun, dun, dun. I am Iron Man. So after the movie, I didn't want to run around as Iron Man with a mask on and be a bad guy. So it got me into the Iron Man mood. And then I thought there was a emotional point in Tony's life where he removes the arc reactor, since that's almost part of his body, so to speak. That was a big change, and then it's kind of like a can't think of the term to use, but it's a scene where he's over his house and the ocean. He throws the reactor away, so it's like it's a pivotal moment in the movie where he's getting rid of a part of his life, kind of, so to speak. So overall, I think Iron Man was pretty good. Had its good moments, had its bad moments.